What's poppin', everybody? I'm Mike.
I'm Brian.
And this is another episode of Hoopin with Mike and Brian. Welcome, everybody, to the 10th episode of Hoopin with Mike and Brian. This is an accomplishment, man.
It's crazy, man. Just want to say this to get this out of the way, though. Make sure you check out our socials. We're live on Instagram at hoopin.mb. Same, we're also live on TikTok, hoopin.mb as well. We're also live on Twitter, hoopin_mb, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hoopin with Mike and Brian. As you know, we're out on all platforms. Obviously, Hoopin with Mike and Brian's out on all platforms. You know, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, everything, man. So show some love. Check out the socials, man. We appreciate all the love and support we've gotten so far. 10 episodes is crazy, Michael. It's crazy.
10 episodes, man. It's been an absolute blessing, and we're going live.
We're going live,
man. This
is
actually going live. You are hearing this now on U92 The Moose, and we just have to give a real big thanks to U92 for giving us our platform and giving us our time to speak and be able to speak our mind and be able to start our wonderful podcast, our thing together.
Yeah.
We started this thing, and we're just talking amazing basketball, talking the NBA world, and we're enjoying it, man. Step at a time. We're making content every day on every one of those platforms. We are making content. We are making TikTok videos. We are making
Instagram Reels.
We have YouTube videos. Really just of the podcast, just of speaking. But we have plans going forward of just more content, of more things to come. We're even thinking maybe some IRL basketball.
Yeah.
Seeing us hoop, so you guys don't think we're just a bunch of guys talking behind.
Yeah, we could hoop. We could
hoop. We can hoop. We would like to say we like to hoop or think we can hoop. But yeah, man. So we have a lot of things going forward, man. But Brian, man, give us our intake. 10 episodes in, man. Give us some.
Yeah, man. It's great, man. I remember, some background. Me and Mike didn't really know each other until this podcast / us getting involved with the radio. Mm-hmm. And I remember actually the first day we recorded was November 9th. That was the first day the episode released was November 9th, man.
Yes.
10 episodes later, we're here in February. It's crazy, man. We've gotten so much love, so much support. I thank everybody, and as Mike said, I want to thank U92 for giving us this opportunity to go live to, get input from people all over the country, man. There's no better place than Morgantown, West Virginia, to be talking about sports. So stay tuned, and we appreciate everything. Everything. All the support we've got so far has been nothing short of amazing. So we appreciate it, and stay tuned.
Yeah, no, definitely stay tuned, and so we'll get into it today. We'll be talking. Right now, for our first segment, before we go to break, we'll be talking just a little small recap. We always like to do a little recap in the morning, just real quick in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because just started off, we've had a couple good games recently. Had a couple controversial games recently. We'll also get into LeBron inching very close, only 89 points away from Kareem being the number one scorer of all time.
Yeah,
which is a heck of a milestone, and it's amazing. And then obviously, because we were talking controversial games, we obviously got to talk about the biggest elephant in the room, and that's
the refs.
The refs.
Yeah, Mike, you said it. You said it the best. You said it great, man. Elephant in the room. But Mike, I was watching that Lakers Celtics game, and let's get it out of the way. That was a foul. Everyone knows it. He hit his arm. I'm not going to dispute that. My only problem with that, Mike, the last minute report, I don't want to sound like a hater. It might sound like a hater, but the last minute report came out, and of the 2 minute report of the four final, there was 4 calls, right? There were 4 missed calls and 4 incorrect calls in the last 2 minutes report, and 3 of them favored the Lakers, and then the one that favored the Celtics obviously was that controversial LeBron foul, which I'm not going to say that was a foul. Let's get that out of the way. But my problem is with it. Okay, so the refs made a mistake, right? And LeBron, reacts the way he reacts, is what it is. At some point, yes, it should have been. They should have called that foul, but you got to put that behind you and be like, okay, let's win the game in overtime. Because I just think that emotion carried over to overtime. Like mentally, the Lakers are already defeated, and obviously the refs have been a problem. The players, the player. I mean, to be fair though, players like Luka Doncic, they complain way too much. Like refs are gonna make missed calls. It's gonna happen, and obviously that one's inexcusable. Don't get me wrong, My problem with it is like, okay, if you're the Lakers, yes, you didn't get that call, but put that behind you. It's overtime. Go win the game. And it's just when I'm watching the game, the emotions, they were too high. Like LeBron, you didn't get the call, but they're not going to go back in time and change it. Once it's overtime starts, it's over with. It's a 0-0 ball game. Go out there and win it. So I wasn't really a fan of how the Lakers handled it, Mike, but I'd like to hear what you have to say on that.
Whew, so, I mean, to start off with, obviously, getting the elephant out of the room, but I mean, the way I thought about it is, because I saw the last minute 2 report, and I'm actually trying to bring it up right now to look at it just to, like, see what specific words that these refs said. And I agree, yes, that Jason Tatum foul was clearly a foul. Yeah. But I do also have to agree maybe some of the extra antics were a little over the top, but I could also understand why you'd get so upset. I mean, it's a close game. You're playing the number 1 team in the East. You are the Lakers. There is a lot of story behind you guys. There's always just everything, especially when you have LeBron on your team. But I mean, LeBron's a little too much over dramatic at a little most. It was a little crazy, and then the one thing I laughed at was the Patrick Beverly thing. That was
if you're gonna get a tech,
it was
that's the way you
Patrick
get
Beverly being Patrick Beverly, and it was just that was comical. And to be honest, at least if let's say LeBron just genuinely just got really upset and kind of didn't do all that and was upset, and then Patrick Beverly just did that, it would have been okay, they got upset. But to be honest, I agree more just on the fact that they did all that, and then they still didn't come back and win. Mm-hmm. They should have.
I just knew they were going to lose that game. I'm not trying to say I could tell the future, but you could just tell. And again, I don't want this to come out of this hating, but keeping it real. If you look at when Jordan was playing the Pistons, right, the bad boy Pistons, and they were fouling him at a ridiculous rate, literally throwing him on the ground. You never saw Jordan react like that. I don't want to compare them to in this situation, but that's just a fact.
We'll bring up another. Let's bring up another situation because I mean, we can always bring up the past and we can always bring up but back in the day, no one's calling that garbage. Even a smack like that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure there was.
But you never saw Jordan react like that.
Yeah,
and I don't want to sound like a hater, but I don't know. And people will say that shows how much LeBron wants to win, which is great and all. But it's you can complain about a call without reacting like that because there's a million missed calls. Mike, we were talking about before we got on air. When the Kings got those missed calls, when in the earlier season when Herter got fouled on 3 against the Warriors, nobody cared. Nobody was talking about it. And I get it, it's the Lakers, it's LeBron, but it's not really fair to the other teams out there because it's again, it's when it's the last play of the game, you got to make that call. I get it. Yeah. But I just don't agree with how the Lakers handled it in terms of you can't let that carry in overtime. Go out there and win the game. But you could just tell mentally they weren't going to win that game.
That all that energy to do all that probably should have been saved to do that in the overtime. That motivate. There should have been more motivation to be you know what, fine. If the refs are not going to win it, if the refs are not going to help us, let's just win us the game ourselves. We came back against the Celtics. Mm-hmm. Let's just finish this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree. I don't think it was very great of the Lakers to do all that because it's almost because it's not that I'm trying to blame all the reaction on just the Lakers being the Lakers reacting and LeBron being LeBron and everybody else being everybody else, but then it just made matters worse because then the refs had to check everything. Everyone was going nuts. The refs still had to follow other rules that they have to follow. They still have to do their jobs, which they don't do that great at times, but they have to do it. And then if players are still being over dramatic like they were, like Beverly, they got more technical fouls, which led to even more time. So for me, it's almost just I think it was just a group effort. It was the rest being missing calls, and then it was just the Lakers being over dramatic, where it just made it even worse. Because the Celtics were just
yeah.
When they asked Jason Tatum about the foul, he was like, "Well, we came in the overtime, and we did our thing in overtime." Even Jason Tatum clearly
Everyone
knew that he fouled them, but he was just he's like, "I'm not gonna say anything because they didn't call it." So I always, just for me as a person, I always look at the other side, and it was just interesting just to see Tatum be like,
because I don't think Tatum's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I fouled him."
No one's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I fouled him," whatever. Obviously, so it was interesting. But I mean, going forward from something like this, though, it brings up that I've brought this up in another episode. I wish I could episode drop and be like, go back to episode blah blah blah, but I can't recall the certain episode and certain time. But there was an episode that I talked about in the EuroLeague. They do like a 2-minute report, but there's also like higher ups looking at these refs making these calls that if they miss calls, they get suspended. They get in trouble. Refs.
Yeah, the refs should be held accountable.
Get held accountable for missing these calls, and to be honest, it would probably make refs more efficient on calls if they're held more accountable.
Yeah,
because they're not held accountable.
Well,
I haven't heard a ref being fined for what he did or anything. Like it's always been it's almost like the refs are untouchable.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see like refs get a post game press conference, I agree. I just think
they get like interviewed though. I think they get interviewed, like little interviews. I think they get like because I've seen in media like learning and especially shout out to W learning stuff about media and being a sports media. I've learned and I've looked into it and stuff like that. Like refs get more just like interviews. Like they get like sound like hey, we'd like to take your thoughts on the game and stuff like that. But like. Yeah, it would be quite interesting to get by. They would. Yeah, they would.
That would just interesting. I'd have to tune in if they're like, but I don't remember the ref's name, but whoever made that. So I saw some report saying that ref is like 36-2, and because when he's ref, like when the ref refed when that specific ref who had that missed call. Refs a game where the Boston Celtics was playing. The Boston Celtics were like 36-2, and apparently like his family's a bunch of Celtic fans. I don't know how accurate that report is, but I don't know. I don't know. People might be reaching.
This is all too much. See, to be honest, if I have to say anything on this, that's stuff. Like I get all that research people do, and it's like it's cool, but it's a little too much.
Because they're professionals, man.
It leads to like crazy stuff where people like now like right now everyone's thinking the NBA's rigged, the NFL's rigged. It's just like
I don't know. People are reaching, man. People are reaching.
Like if it's so true that it's like rigged, it's just like I don't even know. Like what does that ruin it for everybody? Does it like? But I'm sure it's not. I think it's just because people are making mistakes where it's just like if this was scripted, this is a bad script.
Yeah. I try not to look into that scripted stuff. I don't buy it at all. It's
garbage. I just feel like these type of narratives they create more, but like really the simplicity of it is just.
Yeah, man.
Somebody missed a foul. Somebody got upset about they missed the foul. It's just, to me, it's almost like playing a pickup game at a rec. Someone tries to call a foul, and you're like, I didn't even foul you, and then it becomes a whole different thing. It gets
ridiculous.
And it gets ridiculous.
It just is. It's a little ridiculous. Like again, I love Luka Doncic. I said it before, but like some players they just complain about every single.
Like we already know what's gonna happen. Refs aren't gonna get anything done. The game already ended. The 2-minute report already came out. They lost.
But
Patrick Beverley gets fined.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like you can't go once the game's over. Like you can't go back in time and change the Lakers win to a loss, or loss to a win. But that's just how it is, man. But like I don't know. I just don't agree with the players.
I think it's just a lot. I think it's just all that came into just everybody being held accountable. Refs need to be held accountable for making calls, and the Lakers need to do better than just worrying about one call that Yes, it probably dictated the game. It probably would have been different if they called the foul. LeBron probably would have made his free throws. LeBron probably couldn't because that's another thing we could talk about. LeBron's not that great of a free throw shooter at times.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So it's just like we don't know if he would have made those free throws or at least made it. Because then what if he would have made one and the next thing comes down, Jason Tatum makes a game winner or Jaylen Brown? Like, well, what do you do then? Then it's like, okay, we lost that way.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is just I'm gonna say the phrase. It takes two to tango. Right now, that game was 2 to tango. It was. It was really 3 kind of because the Celtics took advantage of just all that.
Yeah.
Like the rest being like, oh, what the like we missed a call, blah blah, we're gonna get killed, and then the Lakers being like, what the heck, we got screwed this game, and then the Celtics were just like, okay, we're just gonna take advantage of the overtime and just run you guys out the court, and they did that. So
I don't know, man, but that's the reality of just sports in general. It comes down like the refs. I don't know, man. People expect them to call a perfect game all the time. Like they're gonna miss calls, and again, in that case, you can't miss that call. But it is what it is, Mike.
Yeah, no, it is, and it's sad to see happen. But I mean, they're just there. I think honestly, at this point, there's been so many ref controversy, and like at this point, there's so many ref controversy in every sport that it's just like. Dude, like there's got to be something. There's got to be a change. The one league, especially the NBA, like they got to make a change at this point because it's been like, a run-on thing where it's just refs missing calls in certain games that should be certain ways. because then you have everybody that reaches. I mean, you had even people that are like, there's been the last 3 to 4 games for the Lakers. When it came to like foul calls and stuff, they said the people have researched that like if the Lakers would have got certain calls at the end of games when they were supposed to get calls after the 2-minute report, the Lakers would have won 4 to 5 games and they would have been in the 5th, 6th seed in the West.
Yeah.
And then that whole narrative would have been different afterwards. People would have been like, are the Lakers actually a thing now? Are the Lakers the best team now? Like, that would have changed the whole narrative.
I will say, but there was a report. It was by Ben Rohrbach, I believe, an NBA reporter. I could be wrong, but they're reviewing the 2-minute report. And this season, up until that Celtics game, after that Celtics game, the Lakers have been involved in 34 incorrect like non-calls or calls or just bad like missed calls in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Who, the Lakers?
Yeah, and 21 of them have gone in their favor, which is more than 28 other teams in the NBA. So, and to put that into other perspective, of those 34 missed calls, 62% of them have benefited the Lakers. So it's like, again, people are only going to talk about the times they mess up, which I get.
Yeah.
But the Lakers have had their fair share of moments where they've gotten calls to favor them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's LeBron, I get it, but the Lakers still could have won that game. That's what's frustrating. And I'm not a Lakers fan, don't get me wrong. I'm a Knicks fan. I don't like the Lakers at all. You could have won that game, and it's like, you just can't let those emotions carry to overtime. Because once overtime starts, they can't change anything. The game's going on. There's 5 minutes of basketball to be played.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's Lakers didn't take advantage of what they could have taken advantage of, and they saw results.
Well, Mike, anyways, another game I was watching, though, over the weekend was that Nuggets-Sixers game with Jokic and Embiid.
Yep.
I was wondering what your thoughts were on that.
Battle of the Titans right there.
Embiid gave him the work.
Embiid has given him the work. I saw the
Sixers been
Jokic and Embiid matchups. Embiid has shown Jokic out, and it's quite interesting because we were just talking about last time. We were praising Jokic, and I still want to praise Jokic because he's still been
MVP front runner. Yeah, but I mean, Embiid's got. It's crazy to me how I don't really feed into All-Star stuff. It's crazy to me how Embiid's not an All-Star starter. I just don't get that. But Embiid really he's been hooping, man. He's been hooping. The Sixers are scary though. Like I have to as I've said before though on the show, I don't know if James Harden's style of basketball can win them championships. Mm-hmm. But with Embiid as dominant as he is, but if he's putting up 40 and 18, nobody's beating him. But like Embiid's been going crazy, and he gave Jokic the work. Like Embiid's not scared of nobody, you know.
Yeah, no, Embiid. I feel like Embiid does that a lot, where he's just like, if you want to doubt me, I'm gonna throw it in your face, because he does it all the time. Where like they'll talk about, they'll be like, oh, how'd you feel about blah blah blah, and you're not getting this, and he's just like, oh, I don't, his accent's pretty thing, so he goes, I don't care. I'm gonna come out and play, and I mean he's done it again. I mean it's like Jokic is having great performances overall. Mm-hmm. And like doing it, but when it comes to when it comes to matchup key games like this, where it's like this is another dude that's you and him have been battling for the last 2 years for MVP, he's been killing you. Yeah,
so, I mean he's been giving them the work, and I just want to see which one of them two first win, which out of the two wins a championship first. I mean the Sixers are third in the East right now, and then the Nuggets are obviously first in the West, as we know. So, I don't know the chances of this happening, but imagine the Sixers versus Nuggets NBA Finals series, man. That'd be crazy.
Sixers and Nuggets.
I don't see that happening, but
the battle of the two best centers in the NBA and the NBA Finals
would be as good as it can get, man. Because like the kind of like Embiid's, I'd say more like physically dominant. Like you're not stopping him in the post. He can shoot. Jokic obviously a better playmaker. This would just be good because to fun to watch because they both do different things well. Like they both. Embiid, I'd probably say, is more dominant, definitely better defender. And then Jokic, on the other hand, is probably a better playmaker. So it would be interesting to see how those two would match up in the 7-game series. Because we see it time and time again where they match up one-on-one. But it's like a 7-game series would be fun to watch, man.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting thing. I mean, it's crazy to see those type of matchups because, I mean, we like to see those matchups. We like to see the best go at it best because, I mean, just to even drop a little tidbit, LeBron and KD haven't played each other in like
that. Yeah, since 2018 Christmas.
2018. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing. So it's great to see like guys like this, like especially like Joel Embiid and Jokic, be like, all right, we're gonna come in and play, and do our thing, and they show out and they did their thing. But We wanted to do a live reaction to pretty much the All-Stars, the starters that have been selected. So I'm just going to go down. We have the captains of the East and Western conferences. We have in the West, we have LeBron James for the Los Angeles Lakers. GOAT. We have
Ain't no GOAT.
We have in the Eastern Conference, we have Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Milwaukee Bucks. And then rounding it out, I'm just going to go with the East and just fall on the same page. We have Kevin Durant and the forward out of the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving, a guard out of the Nets, so his teammate, his buddy, his good old pal. Donovan Mitchell, my boy Spider. So excited that he got an All-Star start. I was so happy for him. That's
well
my
deserved,
boy.
well deserved.
Well freaking deserved. And I love you, Donovan. Love you so much, man. Go Cavs. Even though I'm a Heat fan, I shouldn't say that. That was bad. But that's awesome for him. And then Jason Tatum out of the Celtics. So pretty nice little Eastern team. No like big man, but they got Giannis, who's probably right now one of the most unstoppable men in the league right now. So he's a beast. And for the West, right behind LeBron, we have Mr. Chef Steph Curry out of the Golden State Warriors. Luka Doncic from the Mavs. Nikolai Jokic from the Denver Nuggets, possible MVP. And Zion Williamson out of the New Orleans Pelicans. Big boy.
Sir.
Your guy, your Pelicans, man. So,
yeah, man. Well, I'm a Knicks fan, but
so let's give us our thoughts. We're actually gonna do right after we give our little thoughts on anything on our reaction to this selection of teams for the starters of the East and West for the All-Star game. We're gonna do a little draft. We're gonna act like I'm gonna probably act like LeBron, so I'm gonna flop and cry to the rest and maybe Brian will be Giannis, so he'll probably drop 50.
50, 20, and 10.
Yeah. So, but any thoughts, man? Give me your thoughts, man. What's your thoughts on these All-Star teams?
Most of them are right picks, But the one that really stood out to me, again, I was high on the Pelicans this year, but I don't think Zion Williamson should be a starter. When he's healthy.
Whoa!
Yeah, man. When he's healthy, no doubt, but he just hasn't been healthy enough. He just hasn't played enough games in my eyes. Like this year, he's only played 29 games.
You're such a big supporter of the Pelicans.
What? I gotta be realistic though. When you play 29 games, I don't know, but it's a hot take. I think Lauri Markkanen should start. I think he should start. He's played in pretty much all the games this year, and he's averaging,
the Utah Jazz.
Gotta give him love.
Love.
He's averaging 25. He's averaging 25, roughly 9 rebounds and 2 assists. I don't want to talk
I
about
was
the
giving
stats.
him praise earlier in the season, man.
Yeah.
I told a lot of people earlier this season when the Jazz were doing good, they were number one in the West, man. I was like, watch out for Lauri Markkanen, because Lauri Markkanen's making that resurgence. Like, he didn't have this type of role when he was with the Bulls. But when he went to what was the team before the Bulls? And the T-Wolves, he wasn't like.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I think he should be starting, because he's hands down the best player on their team, but also he's a large region. He had a couple 50 ball. He had that 50-point game. Mm-hmm. But he's been really consistent this year, and he's shooting the ball well, 52% from the field. Pretty good. But he's still. I think, as I said, Mike, availability is the best ability, and he's been playing. He's been contributing to a lot of wins, being the guy who's taking those last shots, and he's making the players around him better as well. So I think Lauri should start. Now, knock on Zion. Zion's one of my favorite players. He just hasn't been healthy enough. So that's my take. Again, I agree with obviously LeBron, Giannis, Doncic, Curry. We were talking about. I think Shea. You can make an argument for Shea starting over Steph Curry, but Steph Curry has been still great. But Shea's played in 11 more games. But that's not just the reason. I'm not saying that you should bench Curry. I'm just saying you could definitely make an argument for Shea starting this year, because Shea's been crazy. In my eyes, he's been the most clutch player in the league, too. He's been hitting tons of game-winning shots. And he's just leading that Thunder team. So that's kind of what jumps out to me. But shooter. I know one name that jumped out to you, Mike, was Kyrie. So why don't you talk about that?
Oh, no. Kyrie was weird to me because I don't want to even say because of controversy. It's just he didn't play in a lot of games. And I know, because this is the thing I would say about you saying over Steph Curry, you could argue about Shea. The thing I could argue about Kyrie is that, like the argument that he made it to the All-Star starter team is like when he plays, he's like dominant.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't play, and it's just like he hasn't been a lot on the floor a lot this season. Probably a little bit more than maybe last year.
Yeah, but that's the thing, Mike. That's when we talked about the Brooklyn Nets. I said it when they were struggling at the beginning of the year. I said what I said was it's never a question about what they do on the courts, off the court stuff. Just with Simmons, his mentally, like if he's there with the team. Yeah. KD's a hooper. KD's always hooping if he's healthy. He's hooping. And then Kyrie just didn't know if he was 100% in.
It doesn't matter with Kevin Durant.
He's going to give you 30 regardless. But that's the thing, Mike. Well, see, once the Nets had their full squad, they were second in the East at one point.
Yeah. But to be honest, it's almost the same with Kyrie, though. I think Kyrie and KD are probably oh my gosh, it's like the weirdest thing. Like, they're the most outside drama players, but when they're on the court, they're hooping, man. They're like the best players in the world. Like the
Nets at full strength, man. Like if you have to win 4 games against them,
it hurts me to say like I don't want Kyrie in the starting, but like I feel like he doesn't deserve it because he doesn't play a lot. And you see guys like the guy that I said and you kind of agreed was Jaylen Brown. Like he's been killing it. He's been
averaging 27 this year, man.
The dynamic duo. They're literally comparing him to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Put him in the All-Star game. Make him a starter. Well, they did that with the Bulls.
Mike, you probably know as much as anyone, but I'm a huge Jaylen Brown fan. Like, if he's on his no knock on Tatum because they play very well together. But if you put Jaylen Brown where he's number one option, he's as good as any. He's putting up numbers as good as anybody. And I just think he complements well to Jason Tatum because he kind of lets Jason Tatum do him and just works around that.
So here's what I have to say. I know you may not like this because I know you don't like this word. Jaylen Brown's a volume shooter, and he likes to shoot the ball. Mm-hmm. If he was a number one scoring option, he would be I would argue he would be a top 7 scorer in the league because he would just be shooting it like crazy. And yes, it would probably be bad. He probably would be great shooting, but he'd be having high-scoring games. But, I mean, that's what's so crazy that he's able to have even high-scoring games complementing with Jason Tatum, who's also been in conversation of being the MVP. And just think about it. His Robin is at times performing just as good as a guy that's put in conversations for an MVP. Think about that. Yeah, but also you have to remember, like the way I try to look at both perspectives, it's also like obviously Tatum's the number one option, so teams usually send their best defender on Tatum. So that also helps Jaylen Brown a little bit. So like if he's getting all the attention, I don't know. I'm not saying he would be bad. I'm saying you don't know if he would still be putting up those numbers. But like Jaylen Brown's as good as anybody, man. Like in the terms, like the fact that Jaylen Brown's their second option, it's still averaging 27 a game as a second option is crazy. And that's why I think Boston, man, like they got a lot of people who can just get a bucket and score, you know. And it obviously starts with Tatum and Brown. But, you know, so that's why I don't disagree with that Brown take. I think if Kyrie played more games, hands down, he'd be a starter. Like he should be a starter, as we know he already is a starter. But because when Kyrie's playing, man, Kyrie's so fun to watch. Just around the rim, what he does, the way he spins the ball going to the rim, it's crazy, man. It's crazy to me. But yeah, Mike. So that's what I have to say. He's an upper echelon guard, like with Curry. Like it's just those two guys. You watch them, and you're gonna be like, I don't know anybody more skilled than Kyrie. Honestly, based on pure skill, ball handling, how he finishes around the rim, even shooting. I mean, dude, I don't know a player more skilled with the basketball in their hands, man. He's the greatest ball handler. New Jersey, man. He's from Jersey. Shout out Jersey. So you think he's? So if I had to ask you a question, greatest ball handler of all time, Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving. I agree. Yeah. I'd agree. Yeah. Yeah, because it is. I know probably a lot of old heads they'll probably be really upset about that because, you know, they're going to think back, you know, Isaiah Thomas, you know, God, Sham, God. I know those names aren't big, but those are like names. If you Allen Iverson too. Allen Iverson, I mean, but like the names that I'm even saying, God, Sham, God, Ross Strickland, Skip to my Lou, Jamal Crawford too. Jamal Crawford. Like I'm naming guys that like they were known for like street ball. Street ball. Yeah. Not even just street ball, just the handles. Like you could not keep this guy in front of you because he had a counter move for every counter move. And that counter move had a counter move for that counter move. So with Kyrie, I agree 100%. Yes, is he an all-star starter? Yes, but does he deserve it this year over maybe Jaylen Brown or? Yeah, Jaylen Brown does not get enough credit ever. No, it seems like he never gets that credit. And in the NBA Finals last year, he was the best player. Robin.
Yeah, but in the finals last year, he was the best player on the court for the
He
Celtics.
was.
Like hands. I mean, obviously,
He was.
That's-
There was
yeah.
games. It wasn't even close that Jason Tatum was not performing
Yeah.
well, turning the ball over, and not even good
The
doing
shot
good on
selection
defense.
was not
And then
great.
Jaylen Brown was dropping like 20, 30, and it was just like
still not enough.
it was like, hello, are you working,
Yeah.
Jason Tatum? Hello, so like
Brown's never gonna get. Maybe Brown's okay with it because they're winning. They made it to a finals, but as long as Brown's playing with Tatum, he's never gonna get the credit he deserves.
yeah,
And
no, he
evidently here wasn't even an all-star starter. So
won't. So, I mean, I know what Kyrie's capable of, and I love watching Kyrie. I can genuinely watch a Nets game. Like that's what's so great about players like Curry, Kyrie, LeBron, KD, Luka. Those guys to watch because like they genuinely could keep your eyes glued to the screen. Like because they're always gonna do something amazing. Like Kyrie's gonna do some crazy layup. He's gonna break someone down off of just a bunch of dribbles and certain moves and all that stuff. So Luka's gonna bedazzle you with passing. LeBron's gonna do the same thing. Curry's gonna shoot it from the logo.
Yeah.
So the All-Star game, yes, is definitely going to be a spectacle, but just when we talk about just giving guys recognition where it's needed, it's kind of slacking, low-key.
yeah, for sure.
Like, it's
I
kinda
mean, obviously,
slacking.
it's a popularity based. They want to
Yeah.
get people to tune in, and
Yeah.
obviously, people want to see Curry. I get it. Like people want to see Curry shooting 40-foot bombs. Not. They don't
Yeah.
want. No disrespect to Shea, but that's what people.
That's not even saying like because when we say that, people are going to think you don't think Curry's a starter, you don't think Kyrie's a starter.
Yeah.
It's not that we don't think
It's just
they're
this
starters.
season.
It's just
Shea.
This season, we've seen other guys in this league that have performed just as well and done it more.
Yeah.
Like they played more games. They've been around more this season than this guy. Like I'm pretty sure Steph Curry wouldn't be mind coming off the bench in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
At least he's at the All-Star.
But that's
game.
the thing, Mike, about what this podcast is about. We're gonna do it based on what we think should. Like obviously, if you're the NBA, I get it. You're putting Curry for viewers, whatever. But like, we're gonna say what we think, and it's gonna be like we're gonna give love to the guys who don't get as much love as they should by the media.
Yeah.
And evidently here, you look at Shea, you look at Jaylen Brown, guys who, because again, no knock on Zion too, but people want to see Zion go do breakaway dunks in the All-Star game. They don't want to see, no offense, Laurie, but they don't really care to see Laurie as much as they care to see Zion. And that's why I think Zion got that, because I mean, this season, no doubt, Laurie's been better. I think because he plays more, and when he plays, he really contributes. I mean, he really just carries that Jazz team, and there's a reason they were the number one seed at one point, which they fell off a little bit. But
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, with these starters, we're gonna have a good All-Star. Like no matter like that. But that's the thing. I think a lot of people are gonna take this the wrong way, and I really hope not. But like, it is what it is. But like, no matter what, this All-Star game is gonna be a good All-Star game.
Yeah,
like it's gonna
I'm
be
liking how they're changing
it's
it
gonna
up
be
a little
watching.
bit.
They're changing it up. Teams won't be picked until literally right before the game. So
It's like street ball. It's
I'm
literally like street ball.
hoping, like I even told Brian, I'm hoping LeBron and Giannis stand in the middle of the court. They look to the sidelines and all the guys are all lined up.
Yeah.
And they're just like, all right, I pick KD. All right, I pick Luka. All right, I pick like that would be the dopest thing. And I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna do that. Or they might do like a game show thing where they might have LeBron and Giannis sit right next to each other and they're gonna do like a draft type of thing. So it's going to be an interesting All-Star weekend. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
There's a lot. I mean, I'm going to kind of get into it before we actually pick our teams. Kind of, we'll set it up kind of like the All-Star break. All-Star break is actually going to be really fun this year. We have the Rising Stars game, which is actually pretty interesting. So we have freshmen, sophomore. So obviously the rookies and the second year, third year guys that are killing it and, big names. So I'm actually going to say those names. And then we also have G League players as well, which is quite interesting because we haven't had that before, right?
Yeah, and there's people like, you're going to get into it, obviously, but like Scoot Henderson, projected top, probably the second pick after Victor Wembanyama in this year's draft. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays against NBA competition.
No. So we got Rising Stars, sophomores. We got Alvarado, Scotty Barnes, Josh Giddey, Jalen Green, Quentin Grimes, Bones Highland, Evan Mobley, Trey Murphy, Albert Sengun, Franz Wagner. Rookies, Panchero, Duran, A.J. Griffin, Jaden Ivey, Walker Kessler, Benedict Mathurin, Keegan Murray, Andrew Nemhard, Jabari Smith Jr., Jeremy Socan. Is it Socan or Sochan?
Socan, I think.
Socan. Jalen Williams. And then from the G League, we got Sissoko, Scoot Henderson, Mojave King, Kenneth Lofton Jr., Mac McClung, Leonard Miller, and Scottie Pippen Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an interesting little nice
Yeah,
that.
man.
We also have the HBCU game, which is a nice little premiere of, our historically black cultured colleges, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be there. And then we have obviously the dunk contest, 3-point contests, and all that is going to. They haven't named the guys yet, though, right?
No, I have not.
They haven't named those, so we'll
As of right
still
now, no.
we still have to tune in to for those as well. So probably next episode or something, or
Yeah.
we'll definitely get into those. But All-Star Weekend is definitely looking up. It's going to be nice in Salt Lake City, Utah, coming February 19th. But let's get into it, man. Let's draft this team.
So I'll be team Giannis, your team LeBron.
Team Giannis, Team LeBron. I mean, do you wanna? We could do heads or tails for it.
That's fine.
Pick it. So you do heads or what do you want? Heads or tails?
I'll be heads.
Okay. Tails would be.
I'll
I'll be tails. All right, and then heads would be. Let's do heads.
LeBron.
Heads
tails
LeBron.
Giannis.
Tails Giannis.
I bet.
So I'm tails. So I'm Giannis.
Okay.
Go. Flip a coin.
It's tails.
That's you couldn't ask Siri.
Oh yeah.
Ask
We're
Siri.
live on air right now.
Yeah, we are live on air right now. Just ask Siri.
It's heads.
Okay, so
Heads is I forgot what we said. I think heads was Giannis.
no, it was LeBron.
Okay, heads was LeBron.
So you're LeBron.
I'm LeBron. You're Giannis. All right, cool.
Okay, cool. All right, so
I'll let you get first pick.
you want me to get first pick? All right.
Yeah.
So I am Giannis. I am going to go with I'm Giannis. I'm gonna go Nikolai Jokic.
Jokic. All right, I'll take Luka.
I'll go Kevin Durant.
I'll go Curry.
I'll go Jason Tatum.
Tatum. So what three you guys have so far? So it's
I have Jokic and Tatum.
Jokic.
Oh, and Durant.
So I have to take a big here.
Yeah.
I guess I'll have to take. I have to take Zion.
I'll go Donovan Mitchell.
Zion. And we have left is
You got Kyrie last.
Kyrie. Oh yeah, Kyrie. Okay.
Yeah. So I have Giannis. So my starting lineup would be Giannis, Nikolai Jokic, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell.
You got a big team.
I got a big team.
So I got Curry, Kyrie, Zion, LeBron, and Curry.
No, dude, I'm body.
I got a team of shooters though, man. We're getting buckets. Team of buckets. We might shoot 80% from the floor, but yeah, man. So that's gonna be that draft, man. That I'm interested to see what these reserves are gonna be. But
yeah, the reserves are gonna be really interesting. I can't wait. Hopefully we don't have any like big time snubs or anything where it's like really really bad.
As long as Laurie better be a reserve. If there's no reserve, if he's not a reserve, man, we're gonna.
Laurie should probably be the first one.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, Shea
will probably
JB.
Shea, and then probably Laurie will probably be like right after
throw
that.
JB in there too, top 3, top
JB.
4. And
and
Embiid too. We're forgetting Embiid. Embiid's gonna have to.
Embiid in the East.
The fact that he's not an all-star starting me is crazy, but
True.
that was.
So East next two guys in the East will definitely be Jaylen Brown
and Embiid.
Embiid next in the West too.
Laurie
and Shea probably for sure.
That's what it should be. If you're asking Hoopin with Mike and Brian.
If you
make sure you check out that socials.
At those socials at hoopin.mb you could come check us out, and those are our guys
for sure, man. For sure.
For next reserves, and those are our guys for our teams if we were to be LeBron and Giannis. And I have that big squad, so I already know I'd win. So
all right, yeah, I got a team of scorers that but we might not miss.
I have a bunch of team of scorers. I have Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell. Are you nuts?
I got Luka, Curry, and LeBron, bro, and Kyrie and Zion. I'm telling you, we're shooting 75% from the field.
Yeah, right.
We'll see.
You guys are puny compared to us.
Don't matter. We're 3-point shooters, man. Threes are worth more than twos.
We are going to get straight into some fan questions.
Yes, sir.
I don't even say fans. I'll say subscribers, listeners, supporters, great, amazing people that have tuned into episodes and, just would like to, see what our thoughts are on some certain subjects. So, Brian, obviously, let's talk about our socials before we
Yeah,
get
yeah,
into
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Before we get into it, and then we'll bring up the questions.
Yeah,
so
so
get into it.
weekly we'll put out something on our Instagram at hooping.mb, like ask us any questions, swipe up, ask us any questions you have regarding like just anything we want to talk about on the show, any segments, any ideas, just or stuff you're just curious about. So, make sure you check out that Instagram at hooping.mb. Same username for Twitter. I mean, same username for TikTok, but our Twitter username is hoopin_MB. And then, as you know, we're live on YouTube as well, Hoopin with Mike and Brian. But to get into it, Mike, I got to give a shout out to Glenn Scalia. He's been a big supporter of this podcast. Shout out Mike and John Blackgrove as well. They also support me very well. They've been coaches, coach me right when I got into the game of basketball. So I appreciate their support, and they know the game as good as anybody. So, but Glenn brings up a great question. He just wants to know like what our thoughts are behind like the scoring outburst from all these players. You have Laurie dropping 50, as Glenn said, and then just players like you just see players like we saw Dame the other night. People just going crazy. Mike. My thoughts on it, it shows, how much the game's just transitioned, how much it's changed. And just I think players take advantage of the rules. Like, one rule that really stands out to me is, like, you see it in the EuroLeague. Well, they don't have in the EuroLeague is the 3 second defensive violation where, in the NBA, you can't, if you're a defender, you can't stay in the paint for more than 3 seconds while the other team gets a free throw. Yeah. So I think that, because I think LeBron takes advantage of that. Like, LeBron, when he sees a guy in the paint for a couple seconds, he knows he can drive it after a couple seconds because he has to get out of the paint. And I think that players take advantage of that, and then just the free throws. Like you'll see, like Embiid, Luka, Harden, like these guys just go to the free throw line like 20 times a game, and then the pace is just a lot different now. As we know. So other than that, as Glenn said, Glenn brought up some great points. He was saying how teams are playing small ball, so it's like they're faster, they get to the rim, all that type of stuff. So I think it just depends. I think it just shows how the game's transitioning, how it's changing over time. But it's fun. We're seeing like sometimes the halftime scores are like 70-74 or 74-70. It's like wow, like this is a lot of scoring, Mike. But what are your thoughts on that?
For me, I would say it's a lot of just yes, rule changes. A lot of guys are taking advantage of rules. Guys are we had Harden. I mean, his scoring outburst when he was on the Rockets, it's almost like every other game. It was just like 50, 60 points. And he would go to the free throw line 5,000 times a game. But for me, I feel like it's the evolution of skill that we've seen where guys are just, there's so many ways now where you can get a bucket as long as you get like literally not even 2 feet of space. Mm-hmm. And you know your shot, your move, your spots.
A lot of isolation too.
And it's a lot of isolation. It's a lot of one-on-one game now where it's just – and it's a lot of 5 wide. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no one just crowding in pace. It's a lot of 5 wide. It's a lot of 7-second ball.
You see a lot of corner threes, though. Like, you see a lot of, like, driving kicks.
Yeah, driving kicks. It's a lot of, like and the defense now, like, now everyone's having to help to where it leads to where other people are going to be open.
Yeah.
Like, back in the day, there used to be more where, like, teams would have game plans against – certain amount of players, not like everybody else. Because like nowadays, it's like there's only guys in the league now that we know for sure that have a game plan. Like Ben Simmons, all right, you could guard him at the free throw line or guard him when he gets in the paint. Don't guard him when he's like in the mid range or anything because it's just like he's not gonna shoot.
Yeah,
we know he can't shoot, so it's just like
the players are just skilled, man. Like,
it's just players are skilled. Defenses are played differently now, where it's making defenders, not making defenders harder. It's just you're making them like you're doubling more, you're tripling more, where it's just like, all right, now you're leaving it to other guys. And now, yes, that may not be a cause of the scoring outage, but I'm talking about scoring outage like we're dropping like 100 points a game. Yeah. Like teams are dropping 130, 140 points a game because there's just defenses play differently now.
But and also as I going back to the free throw stuff. It's just ref differently now. Like you can't get away with as much, and hand checks. Like Jordan was getting hand checked every possession, and those are fouls now. So then obviously, as we know, players just getting way more free throws now. So I think it just comes down to how the game's officiated as well. And then there's sometimes I'm watching the game, and like I don't know, it could be Shea, it could be Luka, it could be LeBron, Giannis. There's just sometimes the defender can't do anything about it. Like, they're just going to score well. Like, you just know there's some guys in the league who are giving you 30, 25 regardless. You know, like you got your Damian Lillards, you got your KDs, LeBrons, ADs when he's healthy. Like there's just some guys you just physically can't stop. Like they're gonna score no matter what.
Yeah.
And as I said, I think players take advantage of the rules, as we know, like the fouling. Well, we saw that rule that they changed where I remember I always think of Dwayne Wade because Dwayne Wade did it all the time. But where they would like if they got the ball on the 3-point line, like a catch and shoot, they would pump fake so the defender came into them, and then they shoot it. I'm glad they got rid of that rule because that rule would always get me mad because the refs always call that. But I think the players, that's just an example. The players just taking advantage of the rules.
Nowadays too, is just training's different too. Training is so in depth now with basketball. It's like you're learning every little thing. Like you're learning how to do moves from just everywhere and being able to use your advantage to where like if someone jumps a certain way, what you could do to either draw the foul or get around it. Like training now, the evolution of skill has just been so.
It's advanced. It's really advanced.
It's really advanced now to this point where it's just like.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it. Like when you're seeing like Kevin Durant, like you can't block Kevin Durant's shot, and then like look at Embiid, like you literally, he's taking 25 free throws a game. Some games he takes 25 free throws because the only way you can stop him is if you foul him. But then he makes all his free throws, so it's like not much you can do to stop him. That's why watching that, we talked about it before, but like watching that when they played the Nuggets, he was just too dominant. But that's just how it is now, and it's like I always think about it though. I wish I was around to see like those games where it was really low scoring, like really physical, where like games were like scored in the 80s. You know, like it wasn't even that long ago. It's just like recently, kind of.
And there was a lot of slow pace. Now it's very fast.
Yeah, very fast pace.
Back in the day, it was more half court offense. Slow it down, run through, go through your options, and then maybe find a shot. Now it's like first quick shot, open. All right, open shot, first open shot. All right, take it.
It's
right,
a lot of threes though. That's the thing.
That's
why also I think
to
answer that question again, Glenn, way more 3-point shooters now. So obviously I'm not a mathematician, but threes are more than twos. But so it's just a lot of more 3-point shooting. I think it's just a lot has to do with how the game's played. As I said, I'm always interested to see. I always look back at old film of like. I like watching like when Charles Barkley played, like those types of guys. Even when T-Mac played, Tracy McGrady, like that was. I'm not. The game wasn't as different when Barkley. No, the game wasn't as different when McGrady played as compared to when Barkley played. But like, it's just interesting because those guys had to score in many different ways compared to how they score now, Mike. So those are my takes on it. But so some other stuff that people asked about. I was a team I was very high on, Mike, and you know as good as anybody was the New Orleans Pelicans. Shout out to our guy Andre. Make sure you follow him on Instagram at films.ad. He does a lot of behind the scenes stuff for us. But the Pelicans are 500, 10th in the West right now. To answer that question, Andre, like my thoughts, injuries. That's pretty much it. Zion hasn't played in a while. Zion, I think they're trying to save him for the playoffs, but at this rate, they might not even be in the playoffs. And then Ingram was out a while for with a toe contusion or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's really just they haven't been healthy. But it's been basketball is a game of runs, so you'll see they were first in the West a couple of weeks ago. Now they're like dropping. You saw it with the Jazz. You've seen it with the Nets going up, and like hopefully we might see it with the Warriors soon. But those are my thoughts on that, Mike. So do you have anything to say for that, Pelicans?
I mean, if it's injuries, it's injuries. I mean,
it's part of the game, man.
It's part of the game. I mean, especially as a Heat fan, we have injuries a lot, but we've been doing pretty good. We're 6 now in the East. We just beat the Cavs the other day. But for the Pelicans, man, I mean, sometimes you can't stop it. I mean, I want them to get back into the play. I want them to get back into the playoffs and not play in because it is kind of really ridiculous
healthy,
to see.
Man. I want to see him healthy.
That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants Zion healthy. I think that's the biggest thing that people can say about the Pelicans team.
That's a scary team when they're healthy, man. With B.I.
Yeah. I mean, what's their record when B.I. plays too?
They were number one in the West when they had everybody.
When they had everybody.
So if they're not healthy though, they're not going to win. But
no, they won't. Well, it shows. Yeah, it shows that one, they don't have really the depth. Though,
yeah.
So that may bring some questions for trades, maybe to bring maybe somebody else to come off the bench and bring in more depth. But I'm not saying it's a huge. It's a problem if it comes to the playoffs because you want everybody fully healthy. But right now, just you got to roll with your punches. Right now, it's soon gonna be All-Star break. Guys get their legs back, and we're good. They get healthy, so
Yeah, man.
I think they're not in a good spot because they were really at the top of the West, and now they're kind of at number 10. But the West is so close right now where it's just like, I think they're fine right now. They just kind of need to, let's get back on track, get everybody healthy, and they'll be fine. But for now, just get healthy.
Yeah,
for
man.
The Pelicans, just get healthy. I think that's all it is
Exactly.
because they were really.
That's with a lot of
team.
teams though, like the Lakers.
Yeah,
that's sometimes. Well, that's too.
There's a lot of teams this year. I mean, there is teams that are underperforming, and like we have so many things
Like
to say. But like
Warriors. What happened to the Blazers? Blazers been falling off.
Blazers, yeah.
But Mike, another team people want us to talk about.
What's up?
Sacramento Kings. They're still number 3 in the West.
They're still doing their thing.
They're doing their thing.
I don't know what they want from us to say. Like, I mean,
They just have a bunch of people
player.
contributing. You're seeing Monk play well. Monks are playing well. Barnes.
That trade worked
Keegan
out
Murray's,
for the Kings.
Keegan Murray's been playing.
You could tell the trades. You could tell that the Kings are trying to make a difference in Sacramento.
They're just buying into that
system. I
system.
love it.
And like that duo of Fox and Sabonis. I know people were critical of it because they gave up Tyrese Halliburton, but like that 2-man game is pretty scary. And then you have Red Velvet on the 3-point perimeter. Just wow, man. He's this Kings team. But Mike, realistically speaking, how far you see his team going in the playoffs?
What the
like the Sacramento Kings?
Sacramento Kings. So what? First round, 1, 8, 2, 7, 3. 6.
So they'd be playing the Mavericks.
Right now.
I don't know if they beat the Mavericks.
Yeah,
if they can get the Suns, I think they can make the Suns run for their money.
Yeah, if they play the Suns and Timberwolves, like if somehow they fell or somehow the team switched up, then
I think at most they might win a series, but even that, because you'll see teams like the Warriors might fall to that 6th spot.
Yeah, because I don't even know. Yeah,
because like I don't know if they're gonna catch the Nuggets or Grizzlies.
No. I say at best second round.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I don't want to sound like a hater. I don't know if they would win a series. Like if they play Doncic, like Luka was messing the Clippers up a couple years ago with Kawhi and Paul George. Like, so I at best I'll say one series. They might win a series, but even that, I don't know. I just think it's the experience. You saw with the Grizzlies last year against the Warriors. Like experience does play a bit of a part in it. I think experience is a little overrated, but no, but I mean, we'll
see.
Know.
But we'll see because a team that did prove this wrong about experience was the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies barely had anything. They blew it up, and they had guys like John Morant and all them. So we don't know. But what to say about the Kings is all the trades works out. They have a good coach. The game plan's working. And the Kings are looking like
pretty scary, man.
A top.
I mean, I wouldn't want
in the NBA, and I like it.
And their home court advantage, man, light the beam.
I'm gonna say this because this is always a joke. They said this should be the team that has no name on their jerseys because they're the Kings, and it was always a joke for years. Give the Kings the respect on their name and the respect on their team. They deserve it because they've been balling and like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Put the respect. Put that Kings name back on that jersey.
Yeah, man.
For that
Sacramento basketball's back.
Give them that recognition because that Sacramento Kings basketball is back for them, and I'm pretty sure everybody's loving out there. That beam is beaming.
Yeah, man. One more. I think I believe there's one more question.
One more question for.
Yeah. Shout out to our boy, my boy Sean Westercon. He says he'd love to come on for an episode, Sean. Hopefully we can get you on here soon. Trade deadline. What teams do you think is going to make moves? What teams do you think should make moves? Me personally, I'll make it quick because I want to hear what you have to say, Mike. I want to see Bojan Bogdanovic or whatever, the one on the Pistons.
Bojan.
But like he's just playing. He's hooping and he's on the team that's like one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah,
so I want to. I'd like to see him move to a contender. I think he's a missing piece for a lot of teams. But Mike, what's a name that's jumped out to you that you think might get traded next week?
For me, names that I can't really pick teams. I'll pick names for sure. But Fred VanVleet from the Raptors definitely is probably going to be.
He's having
moved.
a bad year though.
He's having a bad year, but maybe he can have a good resurgence on another team if it's just not working out because that looks like a whole mess up. I would also like to put Bojan. I do like that Bojan pick because he is on a bad team. Also, another guy that's on a bad team that could be good, and he's been in talks since Eric Gordon from the Rockets.
Yeah. No one.
He could be a good little come off the bench for a team for a title contender team and give you points because he can still drop buckets. Eric Gordon still comes in, drops buckets on the Rockets, and He's on the Rockets. So
I also want to see what Chicago does though too, because
Chicago does have some interesting
the unfortunate
things.
news that Lonzo's knee, Lonzo's knee's not
Still in
much
pain,
better.
and they still don't know why.
They don't know why.
His camp doesn't know why.
I want to see him play
team
though
doesn't
so
know why.
badly, man.
It's
He's
so
so fun to
weird.
watch, man. But I'm interested because like DeMar's on the back end of his career in the sense that it's time that he wants to win championships.
Hawks possibly.
Hawks. We said this last episode. We're very critical of Trae Young.
Yeah. I don't know if you get traded.
You can't trade. Yeah, I don't think.
But
And
they might
dude,
make a
do you see
move.
the game last night? They played the Blazers. DeJounte Murray and Dame were going at it. Combined, they had like 0 turnovers. It was just good. It was just high quality basketball. But I think the Hawks though. I think they have to give it at least another year with that backcourt. Maybe make some other changes. Maybe you got to move John Collins. He's the most average player. He hasn't gotten better since his rookie year.
I would
at all.
say also because they've been in talks a lot, the Dallas Mavericks will probably try to make.
I just don't know what pieces they
they've
have.
been trying. Yeah, I don't know what they
Like
trade
Wood
for
and
him, but
Dinwiddie.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like, because obviously not trade
they
Luka.
said they brought in Finney Smith as another piece of trade.
Yeah.
But like he's just another piece.
He's like a solid
defensive
role
guy,
player,
a
but
good
like
3-and-D guy. Like he's your good 3-and-D guy.
Maybe Bogdanovich I think would fit well with the Mavericks because he can give you 20.
Bojan.
He
He
can
can
give
give
you-
30.
he can give you
Bojan could
30.
give you 30.
But
that's what's crazy.
he might not have to on that team.
Yeah.
But that's a name I'd like to see him in Dallas. I think that'd be fun to
Yeah.
watch. Him and Luka
And then
and
for,
Christian Wood too.
Yeah. See, I agree. For me, finally, for me, I would say my team, the Heat. I would say, even though we're doing well, I would like to see what we do with pieces
I'm
like
seeing
Kyle Lowry.
OG Anunoby. You said it before was a name. I said before we got on, but like the Knicks.
It would be good to get OG because then our defense would be even.
Yeah, that'd be
Our
insane.
defense would be crazy.
Lockdown.
Be locked down. But for the Heat, man, Dwayne Dedman, Kyle Lowry, and we've also had Duncan Robinson in talks. We've
You
also
got to get rid of that contract.
We've also put Caleb Martin in talks as well. We've said he's open to be traded. So I would like to see what we do with those pieces. I don't know what we will do with those pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know what people will want. There's been some interesting things though. Like I think the Hornets were asking for first-round picks from Plumlee, and I was like,
good luck with that, Charlie. I mean, but that's the thing.
Don't know about that.
I know that feeling because the Knicks. I saw some reports that the Knicks are willing to give up multiple first-round picks for OG Anunoby. And before I say anything against Anunoby, he's a great two-way player. He's one of the best defenders in the league, especially on the perimeter. But I'm not. If you're not giving up 3 first-round picks for Donovan Mitchell, I'm not giving up 2 or definitely not 3 first-round picks for OG Anunoby. No disrespect, but as a Knicks fan, I'd like to see. I think they owe it to D Rose to trade him to a place where because he still has he has a lot of miles on him, but he could still hoop a little bit. So I think they got to get rid of D Rose in the terms that he deserves to be on a team where he's playing. And then my boy Cam Reddish, big Cam Reddish fan out of Duke when he got drafted to Atlanta. They're doing him dirty. He's not really playing. He's on the rotation, and then they have obviously Evan Fournier. I've been critical of Julius Randle. I don't think you're not winning. You might win a playoff series with Randle at most, but that's what I have to say for that, Mike. But yeah. So if I'm the Knicks, though, you're at a weird place. You're not bad enough to tank, but you're not good enough to really win a championship. So that's what's frustrating. I just think I don't think Randle's the guy moving forward for your franchise. I think. They're not going to move Randle because statistically he might even be an all-star, but that's what I have to say for that, Michael. I don't know what's going to happen with the Knicks, but if it was up to me, I would get rid of Randle. But
Yeah.
That's my take, just because I've been critical of him all year.
You guys are in a weird spot though. Like it's just you guys are 7th. You guys are gonna possibly
Just don't want to be in that play.
play-in, or I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't know because if you trade a guy like Randall and stuff like that, a big piece like that.
No,
At
don't
this
get me wrong.
point,
We would
yeah.
lose, but Randall's not the guy to lead a team to where we want to go as a Knicks fan base. Because New Yorkers have big aspirations, but Mike, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see where this trade deadline takes us, because a bunch of names could be moved around, change the landscape of the NBA.
No, for sure. But yeah, well, that concludes our show here, man. This has been a good episode and everything. Any last words?
Oh yeah, I mean, I probably sound like a broken record, but I just want to make sure you guys know that obviously out on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, literally anywhere you can find our podcast. But make sure you follow our Instagram at hoopin.nb, our TikTok at hoopin.nb as well, and our Twitter hoopin_nb, and then obviously on YouTube we're hoopin at hoopin with Mike and Brian. Anything else, Mike?
Nothing else. More thanks everybody for the support and everything. One little last thing I'd like to do is give one little special shout out to my girl Mackenzie Schrock, who just graduated from the Air Force. So shout out to her. Love you. Can't wait to see you. Sorry I couldn't make it, but you're amazing. But thanks again for everybody that's gave us support, and through this all, it's been amazing. And remember to always keep hooping.